When you can buy everything from evening gowns to cat food via a single tap of your phone, who needs stores? Well, designer Tory Burch is betting that a sleek new store will offer everything a website can't. Here with more details is Wall Street Journal senior style reporter Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, Tory Burch just opened a new boutique, Tory Sport.
Yes.
Tell us about the experience of this in-store wonderland, if you will.
Sure. So the store opened in the Manhattan's Flatiron District last Friday, and it sort of begs the question, why do you need a store? Tory Sport launched last September as sort of an online play with a single pop-up location, but they've invested heavily in a big new store. And as she took me on a tour of the location, it's a chance to interact with the product, and I think especially in the world of athleisure, which can be a little confusing for people, that it's really helpful to touch and see and feel the product. And luxury brands know that there's no better way to sort of build a community than by bringing people into this world that they've created.
Right, it sort of sets the stage for this in-person experience.
Yes.
This isn't what big department stores did before e-commerce, though. How has e-commerce sort of shifted the in-store experience?
Well, so it's made it so you need to make it seamless, right? Like you need to be able to understand how someone is shopping online and then follow them into the store. And so in the new Tory Sports store, all of the sales associates will have iPads, and so they'll know your sort of customer history if you shopped with the brand before, or they can sort of initiate that relationship. That chance to interact with customers in person and to follow them into the dressing room and give them positive feedback, that's a real advantage that stores have. And it's a chance to sort of build the brand, especially when it's a newer brand like Tory Sport. They need that sort of foundation with customers to introduce it and welcome them into this Tory Sport world they've created.
Right, and Tory Burch obviously has the name, the brand name, but this is a different line, Tory Sport. How does it differ from her original products?
Sure. So it's very functional, and if you want to golf in it or go swimming, it's geared towards a very active person. But there's a healthy dose of what they call coming and going, which is sort of all that in between stuff. And so you'll find like sports bras next to cashmere sweaters, and you kind of think, how does that make sense? But in the store environment, the way that they sort of style and merchandise it, it kind of does. And that's what athleisure is all about, and the customer is really flocking to it. There's a lot of growth potential in athleisure. That's how people are dressing these days.
Right, exactly. And does Tory Sport sort of share the design DNA with Tory Original? Do you see any of the same patterns or pieces, or is it completely different?
It's that same sort of very colorful, preppy vibe, but they're making it very different on purpose. I think they're trying to draw a younger customer, and they're seeing some crossover with the main Tory Burch brand, but also seeing some new shoppers to the brand. It's a slightly lower price point, and there's a lot of different entryways into it. There's accessories, which she always does so well, and there's things like knit bands that you can wear around your arms when you're playing tennis, and those are just $25. And so that's if you want a piece of the Tory Burch brand, that's a pretty easy way to get into it.
Right, we sort of saw her get into this market too with Fitbits and different accessories for people who are active. How big of a bet is this for her? How risky is it?
Well, so they had some layoffs at the end of last year, and they said that was to sort of reallocate resources to Tory Sport. So they're really putting a lot of money behind this, and I think it makes sense, frankly. I think she herself is a brand, and a lot of people want to be a Tory Burch sort of disciple, and so she's giving them more ways to participate in different parts of their life. And athleisure, like it or not, people are wearing this stuff everywhere.
They are.
They're wearing it on the weekends, they're wearing it to the office, they're certainly wearing it to do yoga, that sort of thing. And so it makes sense to where the apparel market is headed.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because as a style reporter, do you see athleisure going anywhere? Is it a trend, or do you think it's here to stay?
I don't think it's a trend. I think it's a new category. I think that it will have sort of different moments of popularity, but I think comfort is a big aspect here. If clothes feel really comfortable, it's hard to get people to let go of a trend.
And they're still selling online, right? It's not just in store.
Yes, and they're also selling at Barney's, so they're doing the wholesale department store model too. But there's something about a store that can really push the brand forward.
Right, the big omni-channel experience.
Yes.
All right, Elizabeth Holmes, thank you so much for being here.